When he came, pagwa agad in public ministry, ang iya unang agin bisitahan ang temple. He went to the temple and he saw there people buying and selling, using even the poor's money. And it was out of context in which they do that in the form of sacrifices. And what did he do? He overturned the tables of the money changers. He made a whip and started to not whip people, but just displaying the anger of God. And he said, the zeal of the Lord is upon me. You have made the house of my father a den of thieves. This should be called the house of prayer. This should be called balay alampuanan. Tani diri ang nagakatabo, connection with God. Ang nagakatabo diri pagpangamuyo sa Dios, subong tanaw ang inyo ginaobra. Ginagamit niyo pa ini tanan-tanan in order to just benefit you. And he was there as a judge. He was there as a prophet. And therefore some people thought he was like Jeremiah, who even wept over the nation when he was on a hill. Naghibion siya, kaya nagsiling siya, baunano na lang matabo sa Jerusalem. Kung ang Jerusalem hindi maghinulsol, this will even be worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. So some thought he was Jeremiah. What do you think, or who do you think Jesus is? Let's also look at some other answers given over the centuries. May mga tao nga naghambal man sang ila opinion kung sino si Ginoong Hesukristo. One is Albert Schweitzer, the famous liberal theologian and one of the 113 Swiss Nobel Prize winners. This guy is an intelligent guy. This guy is supposed to be contributed good in the world. He was knowledgeable and intelligent. Pero amo ining hambalya about Jesus Christ. He was a deluded fanatic who futilely threw away his life in blind devotion to a mad dream. There is nothing more negative than the critical study of the life of Christ. He was deluded. He was delusional. Look at him, kaayo na tani sa pagpangabuhi, but he was committed to this mad dream, the mad dream to change the world. And look at him, makaluluoy, ato nalansang sa krus. It was just a negative life. There is nothing more negative than the critical study of the life of this Jesus. This was coming from a brilliant mind. That is why, brothers and sisters, it takes a revelation knowledge from heaven for us to know and know really God personally in our lives. Here's another one. George Bernard Shaw, the famous atheist and writer, who said, Jesus was a man who was sane until Peter hailed him as the Christ, and who then became a monomaniac. His delusion is a very common delusion among the insane. Maayo ato nga tao si Jesus. He was just perfectly all right. He was sweet. He was cool. Until one day they reached Caesarea Philippi. In Caesarea Philippi, Peter said, you are the Son of God. You are the Son of the Most High God. And during the time, there you go, he flipped. Nagbuang siya, nag-breakdown siya. Kag there you go, he became a mad person. Brothers and sisters, was Jesus really mad? Or was he God? And he is asking for a confession from Peter. He is asking for a confession from you. He is asking for a declaration from me. He is asking a declaration from all of us. Who is Jesus? Who do you think I am? Jesus is asking that even until today. Because that confession, that answer will be the key to your salvation. Romans chapter 10 would say, if you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord, you will be saved. And if you believe in your heart that God raised Him from the dead, you will be saved. That is why kaimportante gali sang aton pagtuad kung sino siya. Kaimportante gali sang aton pagkilala kung sino manggid siya. He was not mad. He was who He was, that we are to worship and bow down to. Well, who do you think Jesus is? Ask the question to a practicing Muslim, and you will get the answer that Jesus was simply a great prophet. Second only to Muhammad, and that he was not divine. Isa al-Masih. But there have been other answers. Being a Christian is not simply about being a good person. It is indeed not about who the follower is. Rather, it is all about Him whom we follow. If you're a Christian, it is not about our character that has been changed first by Him. It is rather about whom we follow. That is why to be a Christian begins with a right declaration that Jesus Christ is Lord. There are many, many people who claim themselves to be Christians, but Jesus is not the Lord of their lives. Jesus is not the Son of God. Jesus is not the living one who will change their lives and in fact control their lives. So they are just branded as what? Nominal Christians. Christians by name. But if you are a real Christian, then your confession will lead you to that changed life. Ano ina nga confession? Ano ina nga hambal? Ano ina nga pagkilala kay Ginoong Hesukristo? Ang pagkakilala sa iya, amo nga siya ang Ginoo. He is Lord. He is King. And when He is Lord, He is, by the way, demanding full authority over our lives. And by the way, when we do that, our marriage would change. Our parenting style would be changing. Our marketing style will be changing. In the marketplace, there will be an effect. In the places of work, there will be an effect. If you're a student, even in school, there will be an effect. Because once you declare Jesus to be Lord over your life, definitely there will be changes that will